Hello everyone, my name is John Michael Bushman and welcome back to Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. And today we will be rocking Black Wings. This is probably, and honestly will be the most powerful Black Wings has ever gotten. And if last week I was channeling Jack Atlas, now it's Crow Hogan. A fan favorite archetype, Black Wings is one of those decks that just simply refuses to die, alongside Heroes, probably. And there are probably a few other archetypes that simply refuse to die, but Black Wings and Heroes are among the top. And with the new support here in Vata, Sudri, Shamal, Sharanga, and a bunch of others that are powerful. Oh, right, and Chinook as well, and Boreas Storm as well. And like the new support really makes Black Wings more powerful than they've ever been. And we're gonna see in these duels if they have what it takes. I'm in Diamond 4 right now, so I am pretty I'm already feeling the pull of Diamond here, and hell, even dinosaurs are having difficulty. Like in every 3 duels, I win only 1, and if I use Flaunderies, I win every 2 out of 3 because people just surrender the moment they see Flaunderies, because people hate that deck. But unfortunately, I play it, so here we are playing another bird deck. In case you guys haven't noticed, but I'm a bird person. Okay, if there's a furry community out there, if there's a furry somewhere in the audience, I like my birds. Okay, but simply put, this deck, or at least my build in particular, is full armor master turbo. Getting to level 10 in this deck has never been easier, with the amount of like even numbers that are spread all throughout all of the main deck Black Wings here. With the exception of a few, more often than not, you will be assembling even numbered synchro monsters. In this particular build, there are a bunch of negotiables and non-negotiables. Those are the two main camps that Black Wings are divided, at least in my experience, are divided into. And the thing about this deck is very, very cheap relative to what you see here. I did not spend too many UR points to make this deck possible. I literally just spent 1,500 gems in the shop and just bought 3 copies of the Blackwing structure deck, and it was more than enough to fill everything up here, with the exception of a few. You can actually play this deck pure. You can play pure Black Wings, and in spite of that, it runs surprisingly well. So we're going to go over the non-negotiables of this deck first. Firstly, as you see here, Vata, the emblem of wandering. This is like your best, one of your best, if not the best, special summon in this deck, and he is the only Blackwing that I've seen that wears pants. But that minor gripe aside, you can activate them, and literally all of the new Blackwing support, all of them essentially do the same thing. They activate an effect and they send themselves to the graveyard. And Vata here is one of your main play starters. And he sends levels that will equal 8 and just special summons a Blackwing Dragon. Of note, Blackwing Dragon is technically not a Blackwing because it has ED in its name, which is it's just a funny quirk in the English language. But the thing about Black Wings is, once you use Vata's effect, and pretty much like every other main deck Blackwing here, it locks you into Darks for the rest of the turn, which is not really a problem since some of the most powerful monsters in the game are Darks. So there's that. You can also like use him as you can hard make some of the other I said fusions. It's synchros. We're synchro showcunning today here. Well, mostly because we have like 3 link monsters, but we'll get there when we get there. He is your main play starter, alongside your 2 other normal summons here. But yeah, without him, this guy is absurd. And I don't know where Black Wings would be without this guy now. Next, our other non-negotiable, we have Sudri, the Phantom Glimmer. When he's normal summoned, and yes, his effect only activates when he's normal summoned, so it's usually him and Seamoon. If they're both in your opening hand, you're pretty much golden. Sudri searches a card that mentions Blackwing Dragons, so you can get either the continuous trap, it's continuous trap. My god, I'm fumbling all over the place. You can get the continuous spell here, Black Feather Whirlwind, or you can get Vata, or basically any of the new support of Sudri here, because most of the new support mentions Blackwing Dragon. And then you can tribute a monster. You can special summon a Phantom Glimmer token. Of note, this is not a Blackwing. That screwed me up multiple times when I'm doing my combo lines with this deck. The Black Glimmer token is a generic level 2, so for synchro climbing purposes, he's actually really Gucci. And our last non-negotiable here is Sea Moon, the Poison Wind. This is like one of the very few OG Blackwings that has survived multiple iterations of this deck. And yeah, you need to control the monsters in order to normal summon him, and then you can basically set up your entire like combo line with Black Whirlwind. And it would even be better if you start with at least one in hand, so that you can have two searches off of this absurdly busted continuous spell. So those are the non-negotiables. Now we go to the parts where you can make cuts here and there. Starting with Shanga. Some builds run only one of this. Some don't run it at all. Because this, if there's one thing this deck has, it's a plethora of tuners. Shanga for me is highly underrated because he is a quick effect pop. And if a monster with 2,000 more attack is on defense, you can special summon him. So it's basically a really good go second card. You can bait out stuff that way. If you have Sharingan, if you're stuck with Sharingan in hand, and the quick effect pop is nothing to sneeze at either. And it's also like you can even not use it at instant speed. You can just use it to bait out negations here and there. And yeah, I run two of it because having three is surprisingly bricky. And then we have another one of the OG Blackwings, Harmattan. Some builds only run one of this guy. Basically just as a way to level modulate with Boreas Storm, but we'll get to Boreas Storm when we get to it. Harmattan is also not bad by itself because it can special summon itself if simply you control a Blackwing monster. I mean, apart from itself. And then once it's normal or special summoned, you can modulate it. You can add levels to it depending on what you have on field. So if you have a level 4 tuner, you know 4 plus 2 is 6, and then 6 plus 4, that's an easy way to get to level 10. So Harmattan is a good way to modulate it, is a good way to get to your higher level synchros, or otherwise you can send it off of Vata. I keep saying Harmattan. God, these names are so hard. I'm just realizing these names are so hard to keep track of. Next we have Chinook. Some builds don't run this at all for some reason. This is like the best form of negation this deck has now, and I run the full bolt of 3 because apart from the fact that she is level 2, is it a she? I'm not sure. It looks feminine, but I don't know. That's a different discussion for another time. And I've had negations be baited by her. Because she's a negate and she's both a negate and a foolish burial. as if Chinook doesn't do enough. Like she's a negate, and it's even a quick effect if you control a dark synchro. And she is what people have called reverse Kalut. Kalut gives a 1400 attack boost, but Chinook gives a 700 attack loss for your opponent, but you know sometimes 700 points of attack is insane if you think about it, and it also negates the effects, so none of the activated effects can trigger here. And I run the full bolt of 3. She's really good more often than not. I think she's highly underrated, but some builds on her. But you know, this is just my personal experience, so there's that. Another negotiable piece of Blackwing tech here is Steam the Cloak. Just limited to one here on Master Duel. Gee, I wonder why. Because his token generation is not once per turn. Oh my god. This guy is like an insane combo extender. And or rather, this card, yeah. Whenever he leaves the field, his token generation is not once per turn. It's a level 1, so you can use it to synchro climb all the way to your 9s. This is like Steam the Cloak is your only way to get to your odd numbered synchros here, which is honestly only 1, well 2 if you count Hot Red Dragon and Archfiend Abyss. But yeah, Steam the Cloak is your way to get to your odd numbered synchros, and there are a few others like Gale the Whirlwind. I've seen some builds have Gale the Whirlwind or Orochi as their way to get odd numbers into rotation, but otherwise I prefer the even numbered ones since they represent the most amount of removal and present the biggest amount of damage. Steam the Cloak here is if anything, he's just a really good extender. Up next is Zephyros. This is like another non-negotiable. This is just a free special summon, all things considered. Like, what more could you want? This is a free special summon and a free extender and whatnot. Although it's a once per duel, but more often than not, that one effect is more than enough. Up next, we have Shamal. Some builds run 3 of this. I only run 2 because I found Shamal to be surprisingly bricky. More than Chinook, I might add. Because once you activate Sudri, like, what's the point of Shamal's effect anyway? I guess if you like run 3 Shamal, you'd rather use Shamal to bait out the negation from your opponent rather than Sudri, because Sudri is a better extender than Shamal. So if you're gonna do it that way, then I might as well just cut Shamal down to 2. Although Shamal does have a really good graveyard effect where it recycles Black Wings in your graveyard. And the level is not that bad either. And it gets your high level, even numbered synchros into rotation. And then, yeah, that's it for the monsters. And now to the spells. Allure of Darkness. Some builds don't even run this anymore. Even though like the deck is like mostly darks. Because of how consistent Black Wings have become because of the new support, some people have said that Allure of Darkness is no longer necessary. But I found that you still need it, because if you don't open with either Sea Moon or Sudri, you're pretty much dead in the water. And then next are the 2 continuous spells, the 2 signature continuous spells I might add for the Blackwing archetype. First off is Black Whirlwind. This is the main crux of the deck. It's a non-once per well, it's a soft once per turn searcher, assuming you normal summon a lot. But yeah, you have to keep in mind that the Blackwing you will add needs to have less attack than the one you normal summon. That has tripped me over multiple times, and I would care to count. Up next, we have Black Feather Whirlwind. This is the newer piece of support, and it only activates. It's a soft once per turn, so whenever something is written that way, it's a soft once per turn. So Zephyros can like retaliate recycle this effect. And whenever you would special summon the Dark Synchro, you can target a Blackwing monster or a Blackwing dragon that's banished in the graveyard with less attack than that special summoned monster. It's special summon it. So yeah, it also has a protection effect that doesn't come up too often, but when it happens, you're very happy that it happened. And then we move on to the last Blackwing trap, and probably the only really good one, honestly. Blackwing Twin Shadow. It features Boreas. I forget what this guy's name is, but yeah, and another smaller Blackwing. I also forget his name, but I know that this is a non-tuner and this is a tuner. So this synchro summons by shuffling 2 Blackwing monsters, a tuner and a non-tuner. This can also use your your tuner synchros, by the way. And if you control 2 or more Blackwing monsters, you can activate from the hand. So this is basically like if Marincess Wave was a combo extender. Some builds only run 1 of this because it can be searched off of Sudri. But I prefer running it at 2, because sometimes when you're like when you don't have too many or rather when one of your like 1 or 2 of your starters was negated, you can actually use this to extend your combos instead. And then to round out the main deck, our Max C tax of Ash Blossom and Max C. I don't run Infinite Permanence because Chinook already does that. And then the other, rather, in Infinite Impermanence slot, is Twin Twisters. I found that the biggest enemy that Blackwings face are back row decks, and back row decks can easily pick apart this deck because not a lot of their cards have protection and or negation, which is surprisingly odd. And of course, running it all out, we have Called by the Grave. And now to go over our extra deck package here. This you can actually fiddle around with the numbers here and there, but we're gonna go over the non-negotiables first. Starting off with Boreas Storm. Some builds run 3, some builds run 2, but never less than 2. He's basically foolish burial on legs that also modulates his freaking level, like as if this guy didn't do enough. And 2400's base stats is nothing to sneeze at either. And when he destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can banish a Blackwing, except this red monster. You just steal it. You just steal the monster it destroyed by battle. So that's like really, really good. And then Blackwing Dragon. This is like the main it's now just a combo extender by this point. It's not your finisher anymore. Some builds run 2, some builds run 3. But given how tight the extra deck has become for me, I only run the 2. In the Synchro Festival, at least, where Black Whirlwind and Black Feather Whirlwind are both limited, and Black Winged Assault Dragon is also limited. You can actually run the full 3 Black Winged Dragon. It's basically just a way to extend. But otherwise, it's 2800. It's a decent attacker, and there's also like it also has a burn effect for some reason. I never quite understood that. You could have just used it to increase its attack instead, but every time it gets a feather counter, it loses attack instead, but it inflicts burn damage in return. So that's something. But otherwise, he's usually just there to extend combos or to end with Blackwing Assault Dragon. And then the other non-negotiable, Full Armor Master. Like not a lot of decks can out this. Hell, one of the few cards that can out this is like Geomathemic Final Sigma. So basically, any monster with attack that's higher than this guy can easily out him, and then it places wedge counters, which allows you to steal a monster. So pretty much similar to Barrier Storm here. But yeah, some builds only run the 1 because it's honestly really all you need. Some builds run 2, hell, some builds even run 3, but I don't know why you would. And then the newest Blackwing in this deck is Black Winged Assault Dragon. So this guy is basically what Masquerade does for the branded archetype. Every time your opponent activates an effect, they get burned for 700, and he can either be hard made, so you can have a 6 and a 4, and then it's a 10, or you can special summon him instead by banishing a tuner synchro monster, usually Boreal Storm, and a Blackwing Dragon from the field and or graveyard. So that's insane. That part's insane. Some builds run the full 3. I honestly prefer to run the full 3, but sometimes only having the 1 on the field, hell, even having 2, so burning your opponent for 1400 is absolutely painful. I've experienced that, and I think I have that on recording where an opponent of mine summoned 3 Blackwing Assault Dragons, and it basically killed me the moment I was able to do anything. Then it also has a board wipe, where you would tribute a card with 4 more Black Feather counters, and sometimes it would be Blackwing Dragon that accumulates all of this, or somewhere else. There are cards out there that give Black Feather counters. I think, yeah, Assault Dragon also does it, and yeah, it's basically just a board wipe. And then the negotiable ones, Nothing. Some builds don't run this. I actually personally don't like this because of its low level, but some people swear by it, and I can definitely see the power because he has attack modulation. It loses 800 attack and inflicts 800 damage, 800 burn damage, but his most important effect is you have an extra normal summons, and only for Black Wings, but sometimes that's more than enough. Another negotiable here is Raikiri. This guy is less restrictive, I guess, removal spell compared to the level 8 that does essentially the same thing, although if you use the level 8, you actually skip your battle phase. So some people prefer Raikiri over him because simply because of that. And this deck loves being aggro, so skipping the battle phase is like the biggest sin that could possibly do. And then we have Bilze of the Diabolic Dragons. I was actually debating on whether if I would rather use this guy or his level 10 version, but the level 10 version is just funny that it's just funny and bad, while this guy is just okay. He cannot be destroyed by battle card effects, so he's just a wall. And then if you would take attack damage or damage from an opponent's card effect, this guy will keep boosting its own attack. Like it's basically very hard for your opponent to kill traditionally, so they would have to use a banish style effect to get rid of this guy. And given how prevalent that is these days, it's at least targeted at Bilze and not any of your other important pieces. Speaking of which, Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss. If your opponent would try to remove Bilze, you can use Abyss here to negate it. I mean, that's literally the only reason why he's in this deck. This deck is lacking for negation, and he is your best option for it. And it's actually really easy to get to a level 9 in this deck. Assuming, of course, the stars align and you get Steam the Cloak in rotation early. And then we have our links. You could actually do without this, but this just gives your deck. This just gives the deck a little more punch and flexibility should the synchro lines fail. So we have Dark the Charmer. More often than not, you're going to be able to summon a dark monster out of your opponent's graveyard because one of the most prevalent attributes in this game is dark. And if it was, and there's this effect, it's basically a Witch of the Black Forest, and this is something that I actually miss a lot, because it never really comes up. But otherwise, that's something to keep in mind. It searches any dark monster, by the way, with 1500 or less defense, and that's like most of your main deck monsters. And then, of course, Nightmare Unicorn into Access Code Talker. That's a line that, if you're familiar with this game in any way, shape, or form, there's that. So yeah, that is my take on Blackwings. Well, I have mixed success with this build, but we're gonna see if the recording sprinkles any of that content creator luck on it. Before we jump into the duels, I just want to bring to your attention that there will be a banlist update sometime in July, and it will unfortunately not do too much. It's just a consistency hit to sprites. So by I think they semi-limited Jet, and then they limited M-Pen for some reason. The hit to M-Pen will not be problematic in the slightest. I personally have been playing with only one M-Pen this entire time, so that's completely fine by me. And sprites are pretty much dead after the next banlist update. And yeah, I'm still like dreading Kashtira format. I'm still dreading Kashtira format because everybody will be banishing everybody else when those guys in red armor roll around. But without further ado, let's take flight with these particular birds. Going second, and let's see if that'll be enough. Start with Chinook. That's actually really good. But if we don't draw any of our other Blackwings, we are going to be pretty dead here. And it also doesn't help that we negate this. From one bird player to another, I have to stop this, okay? Unless you have Called by the Grave, question mark, or if you have no, Advent does not stop Ash Blossom. It does stop Infinite Impermanence because I hit my microphone. But yeah, if you stop that's just the thing with, oh fuck, he did have Advent. Okay, he is still going to be able to somewhat extend here. Oh god, he banished one from hand. I think that was okay. He banished the one. Really. Great. Thanks, opponent. Okay. So we won't be able to do too much here. I think yeah, Vata needs to be able to send to the graveyard for him to do his effect. Yeah, it needs to be sent to the graveyard. So we need a good draw off the top here. Although we at least have Twin Twisters, we can pitch one of the extra Vatas we have in hand. So yeah, my opponent's gonna do their Fluanderies combos here. They will end up with at least 3 cards in hand at the end of all of this. So we will be back once they have their end board. Okay, we're back, and they ended on the extremely expected Fluanderies end board of just M-Pan and Dreaming Town. And now we're gonna force the issue. We're gonna discard Bata, unfortunately, and we will destroy their two pieces of spells and traps. He allows that. That's very interesting. Okay, we unfortunately cannot send any of our guys. Okay, we'll normal summon Zephyros here. We're gonna special summon Vata. Oh my god. Oh, that's interesting, but they will just immediately be sent to the banish pile instead. Really? Huh. Okay then. That's actually really Gucci. All right. Who do I not mind losing? I guess a Seamoon or a Sudri. No, we already have monsters, so I think Seamoon becomes less good if you don't have oh, so it really will not resolve because during the main phase in the graveyard, so those are special summons. That is actually really fascinating. Okay, because I thought it would so it allowed me to send, but it does not fully resolve because it didn't end up in the graveyard. Okay, you learn something new every day here. All right. So we can't use Chinook. All right. We can use Chinook now because we are no longer under Dimension Shifter. But I do not like my odds here. Because we literally only have Chinook. But let's see what our draw is on the top, because we can do stuff now. Now that we at least got rid of their of the map and Dreaming Town temporarily. That's a good draw, but I'm not quite sure if I want to YOLO it. But unfortunately, we are unfortunately not given too much of a choice. We are dead. We just move on to the next duel. At least I'm going first in this, and I got thoroughly stumped, if that's even possible, by a bunch of birds. This is a shitty opening hand, all things considered. Can get stuff sort of started, question mark. Black Feather Whirlwind is nice and all, but I don't think that's what we need at this current juncture. Wow, this is a bad opening hand. Holy shit. We can start with Black Feather Whirlwind, or we can just set Twin Twisters and hope to the gods that my opponent does not play anything unfair. Well, you don't have Max C to hopefully equalize the playing field here. So let's see what our opponent can do. Starting with 6 cards in hand, and I barely did anything here. So let's see. Okay, E-Telly. Will you allow me to draw a card, good sir? You're starting with E-Telly here. His turn could very much end right here unless he has either Ash Blossom or Called by the Grave. He does have Ash Blossom. Alright, so he will be extremely monster-centric here unless he does something else. But otherwise, we're probably dead. So either we skip to the next duel or we just move to the next interesting point if my opponent doesn't manage to kill me somehow. Going second, so let's see what the gods have in store for us here. Oh boy, this is a bad opening hand. Okay, we're back, and we are going off against Tearlament. My god, this deck has suffered so many hits, and yet it's still trying to go on, huh? But then again, my hand's pretty shitty. So we're gonna see if we can. That's just the Ash Blossom here. If my opponent cannot, oh my god, I think he milled extend. Oh my god. So we'll be right back with my opponent's end board. Okay, we're back. I have no idea if we can even fight through this. Unfortunate. And high hopes for this video. Oh well, we're gonna do our best anyway. So doing that, I'm assuming that will trigger. I'm sure. Sulik. Can we do the Kelbeck thing now? I think YuGiOh is the only one that doesn't recycle. Yeah, YuGiOh is the only one that doesn't recycle. That is very interesting. Alright. So that he won't reuse it again. Let's see here. Who other can we Merly is hazardous. Shield is the more dangerous one, so yeah, we'll get rid of Kelbeck. Since that's a bounce. It could represent a bounce. So let's see. I mean, it could force the activation out of, yeah, he will not do that. Oh my god, this deck. Ugh. Right, we're gonna keep trying. We're gonna keep trying. Okay. So, we cannot, activate stuff out of the graveyard. That's number 1. We're gonna see how much negation we can bait. Allure of Darkness. We're gonna banish Sharnga here. Okay, that's an Ash Blossom that was not directed at any of my other shit. Fortunate. Okay. Then he's going to use Sprite Elf. I'm assuming, yeah, summoning Merly back. Sure. Then, what else is he gonna do? Okay. Okay, yep. Allure of Darkness, so he has 1 card in hand. Oh, right. We can't special summon Sharnga here. Alright. No, I will not allow you to do any more searching. Stop. Stop that. Get some help. There we go. Okay. And there we go. Really a lot. Then Scream. Yep, sends a lot. Wow, there's two Kelbeck in here. Great. Oh my god. Thank god those guys will be limited by the time July rolls around. Good freaking riddance. There we go. Yep, that's gonna happen, and we move on to the next duel. Alright, I won my Darrow after a long while, and let's see what we can do here. Opponent's rocking Exorcister sleeves, so that's already concerning. Ooh, do we start with Chinook or do we start with Harmattan? But if we start with Harmattan, we cannot special summon the other, so we start with Chinook it is. There we go. Do you have something for this opponent? I'm assuming you have Max C, considering you're... Okay, we will happily take the Max C challenge. Alright, let's see. We're gonna... I would start with Harmattan, but everyone here is level 2 anyway, so... I think starting with Harmattan is a good idea here. Alright. Then we increase its level by 2. There we go, he'll be a level 4. Do we hard make a 6, which is also... What the fuck? You were literally just a tier limit player, huh? Alright, fine, I'll max you back. We will both draw cards this turn. Because you will be playing on my turn anyway. So, that's like, this is give and take for the both of us here, right? Okay, I draw 1, and Harmattan increases his level. Then you will trigger. Okay, Reinhardt. He will do his thing. Yep. Reinhardt. Activate effect. Okay, discarding Merly. I will draw 1. Thank you. Okay. What else are you gonna do, opponent? Will you activate those effects? I'm assuming you would, because it will also push you, but it will also give me cards. So this is a very interesting sub-game we're playing right now, since both of us are under Max C. Yep, this is like the degeneracy that most of the American players do not like playing with. I'm personally well, I don't like it either, honestly, because it devolves games into chicken, like so. And so basically whoever draws into their more powerful stuff first is the one that usually wins the exchanges. So yeah, that Max C should definitely be you know, shot behind the cover, shot behind the bar, and never seen again. It's just, the card is just simply way too toxic for the game. Okay, we can set up for full armor master now because we have a clean line to Borea Storm here, because we have a 6, or we can have more material by using Vata here. Borea Storm will modulate its level as if that matters, or we can make another normal summon because we have Zephyros. Ooh. Alright, we'll actually do that. Okay. So we're going to Nothang. I normally don't go into this line, but it's we get an opportunity, so why not? Okay. Then sure, that's fine. 800. Then we reduce this guy's attack, because why not? Then we go into Zephyros. Yep, that's our extra normal. And then what else are we gonna do? We did go into dark. They do have a dark in the graveyard, so there's that. Then we do this. We'll target this guy. Then we will send Borea Storm. Yeah, because nothing is not a synchro. Yeah, we should just send a Borea Storm. There we go. And then go into dark. Oop, there we go. All right, go into dark. There we go. Boom, boom. Okay, that's that. Then we'll target their own DD Crow. Go. And then we'll summon Zephyros. Oh, this is a bad idea. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's giving them back their DD Crow. Right? Yep. Yeah. Realize that once I've activated, but you know, it's neither here nor there. We can at least run over Squid Heart here, which is surprisingly relevant now that I'm thinking about it. And it's only our turn 1. What the fuck? That was only turn 1. That was only turn 1. Oh my god. That was only turn 1. He drew more cards than we did, so that's already a disadvantage on our part. So we're gonna see. Ooh, Nothong's effect is permanent. That's interesting. Yeah, it doesn't say until end of turn, so yeah. I'm good on us, I guess. But now I think this is where we most likely die because they drew more cards than us and we don't have anything. So yeah, we're gonna move on to the next duel. Okay, we're here at the end screen, and yeah, I had to cut the last couple of duels because this is probably the first recording I've had where I did not win a single duel at all with a deck. So yeah, as you probably see, sure the support Black Wings got are powerful, but unfortunately, with how powerful Yu-Gi-Oh is these days, I honestly think it's just too little too late for this ailing archetype. Sure, it gives them a sort of fighting chance against the more powerful decks at the rogue level, but when it comes to facing off against actual tiered meta threats, as you probably see, it's simply too much for these for our feathered friends here to compete. It's definitely something to take to the casual rooms, something also to use for the Synchro Festival. I will definitely be using this for the Synchro Festival from here on out because it was honestly extremely low investment for me because all I did was just create the Bilze and Hatare Dragon Archfiend and Raikiri. Hell, you can even actually cut Raikiri entirely and just focus on like odd numbered and have only Hatare Dragon Archfiend as your odd numbered synchro and just focus on even numbers because even numbered synchros are really easy with this deck. Yeah, I would not recommend running this in the more competitive sense, unfortunately. But if you're really dedicated to this archetype, I mean, more power to you. But unfortunately, I'm not the right person for this job. So yeah, if you still like what you saw, probably taking it as a learning experience on what not to do when playing Black Wings, hit like, comment, subscribe, and share this among your friends. And until next time, toodles.